Click the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to never miss another update.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Quran Time with Hania, where we explore the Quran and the interesting stories inside this marvelous book. This part comprises the remainder of Surah Anam and the start of Surah A'raf. In Surah Anam, the Holy Prophet is reassured that the disbelievers are stubborn and will not listen. They will keep asking you for miracles, but they still will not believe. Even if dead people start talking to them, they won't be convinced. The miracle of the Quran is enough to believe in Allah. In this part of the Quran, Allah has also asked His believers to follow these 10 commandments. 1. No one should be associated with Allah. 2. Parents should be treated with love and respect. 3. Children should not be killed. 4. Bad deeds should be avoided. 5. No one should be killed unjustly. 6. The property of orphans should not be stolen from them. 7. You should take the correct measures to be just in your job or your business. 8. Justice and fairness should be kept in mind while you speak to others. 9. Your promise to Allah the Almighty should be fulfilled. 10. The straight path of Allah should be followed. Besides this, Allah has mentioned a lot of other important points in this surah. Allah says that sins are of 2 categories, the ones that are committed in public and the ones that are committed in private. Allah has also declared that faith is life and disbelief is like death. It is also revealed that the Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt are an obvious example of how we can do good deeds for the sake of Allah. It is also mentioned that the Prophet has nothing to do with those who create problems and feuds in the community. At the start of Surah A'raf, the blessings of Allah are mentioned as follows. 1. The Holy Quran. 2. The creation of human beings. 3. The empowerment of human beings on earth as the best of Allah's creation. And 4. The angels prostrating towards Prophet Adam and declaring him as the caliph of our planet. These verses also mention the best of deeds, and these deeds can be attributed to the prophets and the imams. This part of the Quran also contains a dialogue between the people of heaven and hell. The people of heaven will say, "Do you now believe in the promise of Allah the Almighty?" Before the people of paradise and the people of hell will face each other and will have this conversation, a caller will announce the curse of Allah on the oppressors. In several hadith, Imam Ali has been referred to as this caller. Allah has also declared that one of the signs of those who will go to heaven will be that they will be called by the noble companion. Hadiths have referred to Imam Ali as this noble companion. The depth of God's power is also discussed in the surah. The high and lofty sky, the 7 heavens, the seamless system of night and day, the shining sun, moon and stars, winds and clouds, the planets coming out of the ground. All of these are signs that show the magnitude of His power. Surah A'raf also has stories about 4 prophets. The first is about Prophet Nuh. Prophet Nuh told the people that he was a messenger appointed by Allah to deliver His message, and urged them not to stray from Allah's guidance. Despite all his efforts, not everyone accepted the divine guidance. Some people made Prophet Nuh's life difficult and drove him away from their rally. The Prophet was very sad and he prayed to Allah for help. In response, Allah asked him to build an ark. The Prophet, along with his followers, at once put Allah's order into practice and started making an ark. The unbelievers laughed and joked at the Prophet as they wondered what the ark would be used for and where it would sail, as there was no water for miles around. One day, when the ark was ready, dark storm clouds gathered, followed by lightning and thunder. Heavy raindrops began to fall from the sky, and water started to gush up from the ground. At this very moment, Allah commanded His Prophet to load into the ark a pair of every kind of creature he could find. The followers at once began to gather the animals. Once all the animals were on board, the Prophet led the followers into the ark. It rained for many days and nights. Everyone who had not believed the Prophet was drowned in the flood, and all those who listened and boarded the ark were saved. Then one day, Allah commanded the storm to end, the earth to swallow water, the rain to stop, the wind to calm down, and the clouds to clear. The ark came to rest safely on the side of a mountain as the flood was finally over. Prophet Nuh stepped out of the ark, followed by the believers. When their feet touched the ground, the believers fell to their knees and thanked Allah for saving them from the terrible flood. Allah mentions these stories in order to teach us a lesson about the amazing reward for good deeds and the terrible punishment for bad deeds. He also wants to teach us that following the teachings of our Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt will only lead to good and save us from destruction. The second story is about Prophet Saleh. Prophet Saleh was sent to guide the people of Thamud. These people were very wealthy and wielded great power. They built buildings on the land and also carved them in hills. Moreover, they cultivated fertile land and gained lots of benefits from it. Hence, they had become very rich. But at the same time, they also lost their sense of right and wrong. The people of Thamud committed the worst kinds of shirk. They associated various partners with Allah. They would worship many gods and live lives completely contrary to Allah's teachings. Additionally, they oppressed various people. They weren't kind to the poor and instead took advantage of them. They were very vain in their behavior and were very selfish in their behavior. Hence, they took advantage of others for their own gain. Prophet Saleh commanded them to give up their evil ways and instead start worshipping Allah alone, which is the purpose of life. However, only a few of the people believed and accepted his message. Most of them remained obstinate in their defiance of Allah and the message brought by Prophet Saleh. The people of Thamud had no intention of listening to the Prophet's command. However, they asked him to provide proof of his prophethood in the form of a miracle. Allah tells us in the Quran that He sent them a unique she-camel. They all gathered around a mountain and watched as the rock cracked open, and miraculously, the she-camel walked out of it. However, it would be a trial for them, not just simply a means of proof. Allah narrates in various parts of the Quran how the people of Thamud disobeyed His command, despite Him granting them a unique miracle. They harmed the she-camel and committed a grave injustice. It began when the disbelievers began to complain that it would consume too much water. Hence, they hatched a plot and aimed to rid themselves of this miraculous creature in the most heinous ways. After they had killed the she-camel, they dared Prophet Saleh to bring what he had promised them, i.e., Allah's punishment. Prophet Saleh gave them 3 more days and warned them of a great punishment for their grave sins. Allah tells us that He destroyed the people. He mentions a shriek, an earthquake, a blast, and a thunderbolt. This acts as a lesson for future generations regarding what happens when we defy Allah. Allah saved Prophet Saleh, but He punished his people. The third story is about Prophet Lut. Prophet Lut was Prophet Ibrahim's nephew and was sent to guide the people of Sodom. His people committed many disgraceful and heinous sins. Prophet Lut called them to heed Allah's command and to worship Him alone, without associating any partner with Him. And He forbade them from their indecent practices and abhorring acts. But they ignored and rejected His appeal and continued in their erroneous, unnatural acts. As a result, Allah destroyed them by a severe punishment in the form of rain. But this was not just any rain, This was a shower of stones and rocks which instantly killed the people of Sodom. The fourth story is about the people of Prophet Shuaib. The people of Madian were unfair in one very specific way. Prophet Shuaib commanded them to fulfill the measure and weight, meaning that they cheated, most likely with the business transactions. He told them to worship Allah and give up their evil deeds. Otherwise, they would face a painful punishment at Allah's hands. He also told them not to cause mischief and corruption in the land. This was a severe warning by Prophet Shuaib. He gave the example of some of the past prophets and the punishments their people endured. Indeed, he gave fairly specific examples in the forms of Prophet Nuh and the people of Hud and Prophet Saleh. Yet, his people were stubborn in their ways and arrogant. They showed no inclination to change the ways they conducted themselves, and it was only a matter of time. Allah mentions the terrible punishment He sent down among these people in 3 surahs. He stated that an earthquake struck them and they became extinct and lifeless in their own home. In another surah, He also says that a terrifying cry overtook Prophet Shuaib's people. Moreover, He also says that they were seized by a black cloud. Hence, they suffered multiple punishments because of their obstinance and refusal to accept Allah's message, alongside being cheaters and engaging in despicable forms of robbery.